Hi and welcome to the first of many podcasts for Embrace Marketing. My name's Ciarán and I'm the Digital Director here.
Hi, I'm Becky, I'm the MD of Embrace.
And the idea for this series of podcasts came about because we were having the same conversations with clients and business in the area where the same issues and the same problems kept on coming up. So the first issue that we're going to talk about today is digital marketing, and specifically our solution to that is our reach model. Now reach, it was an idea of yours. Where did it come from?
Well, reach was one of those things that came to me at 3 o'clock in the morning when all of a sudden I had an idea for something, and it's very similar to our Rise brand model in that Reach offers a holistic view of digital marketing as Rise offers a holistic view of brand and brand awareness. So this idea had been sort of churning over in my mind for a while, and it's all to do with kind of the challenges that some of our clients were facing. So some of our clients had sort of said to us that they'd invested a lot of money previously into their digital marketing, and they trusted a supplier to go away and implement the things that they said they were going to implement, but they hadn't experienced the ROI that they'd been promised. So we had a little look at what was kind of going on for them kind of in the background, and we found that even the simplest of kind of SEO techniques and keywords hadn't been implemented or hadn't been implemented correctly, or very simple things like pages would be missing meta descriptions and alt tags and things like that. So the basic principles of SEO and things hadn't been implemented. And I think another really kind of key challenge is that a lot of agencies and digital marketeers are offering kind of the doing of digital. So they'll do your keywords for your SEO, the paid ads and things like that, or they'll say that they're doing that. But they're not actually looking at what the data's saying, and then they're not interpreting what does that really mean for the strategy. What do we have to change? If something's not working, what is working and what should we be doing more of? So I felt like we really needed a solution which was very holistic, that kind of looked at what was going on currently for clients, looked at implementing things for the better, and also looked at evaluating what's working, what's not, to really sort of maximise ROI. So that's really all those things coming together. All of a sudden came up with this, name Reach, and then went over to you, Ciarán. So what does that mean, and how can we actually implement it within Embrace?
Yeah, literally came to me and said, got a perfect solution. It's Reach. It stands for Research, Evaluate, Action, Change, Hook. And I was like, brilliant. What does that mean? She went, I don't know, that's over to you. So I looked into common problems that our clients were having. And before I go into each step, we looked at Reach and we split it in two. So first of all, we do Reach for organic search, organic digital marketing, and then we look at paid. Now, if a client of ours doesn't do paid digital marketing, then obviously we don't go down that route. But we think that for those who are, you need to get your organic search, your organic SEO, everything about your website, your digital presence right before you start putting money into it. So the first stage, our research, is, as Becky said, is looking at what are the issues with your current digital presence. The H1 headings, the alt tags, what's not working, what's stopping you turning up in search engines when people are looking for you. Second of it, we look at the competitors. What's working well for them? What are people searching to find your competitors? Then we look at the keywords that are actually being used where you do rank highly. What are people searching for that you come for, and maybe having a look at are they the right keywords the reason you're coming up, and if they are, put more effort behind them, or if not, look at changing them. And then we look at keywords as a whole. What would a normal customer search for to find your service? If you think of it in that way, then it's obvious then what keywords, what search terms should be in your website. And then the final part is backlinks. Once you've got your website sorted, how can you get as much traffic to your website as possible?
Yeah, so I think a lot for us is kind of looking at what the overall strategy is initially from a marketing perspective, looking at what the digital strategy should therefore be, looking at what's currently going on, applying common sense along with using, all these clever digital tools that we can use and we very much do use, but also we apply common sense of, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, I think along the way as well, which is really important. You can't rely on the tools too much. We're humans at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's where we get into E. evaluate. So we look at all of the different sections that I just mentioned, and then we look at, right, what are the must things you've got to do? What are the things that are actually preventing you is turning up in search engines, we say, missing metadata, duplicate metadatas, and also then the nice to haves. What would work well? What would boost your presence by adding a little bit extra to your website? And then the kind of the next level down is like, if you can do it, great, but said these first two are the most important parts.
Definitely. And then kind of looking overall then, so we've covered kind of the research, evaluation. What are the next kind of steps as part of Reach?
Well, it's kind of the A and the C, action and change, kind of come together. So the action is implementing all those changes, making sure that, so anything that we found as a must-have or a nice-have gets completed, and then we look at change. So we go back again for those people who know the Scrum framework and that sprint model that goes through it. It's re-evaluating, it's going through the whole process again. Once we've made those changes, doing the research, going through everything. Is there anything that's been missed, or is there anything that's now came up because of the changes that have been made? And then again, evaluating what needs to be done and then making those changes again. And in that as well, it could be a bit of A/B testing, checking how two things compare with each other to see what gives you the best results.
I think as well, because digital marketing is so fluid, and there's always kind of new algorithms and new techniques and new challenges that are being thrown your way. I think that's why it's so important to not just evaluate what you're doing now, but as you make changes, then to keep evaluating on an ongoing basis, because what you've made today isn't necessarily going to work in, 6 months down the line, a year down the line. So it's really important to keep that kind of loop going, I think.
Yeah, so with the change aspect of it, obviously you go REAC back to R, but that C is continuously going, looking at what's working, can we do more of that, what's not quite working, how can we change that, and then just making sure that your digital marketing is on point and you are getting to where your customers are looking for you.
Definitely. So the last part of the model is Hook.
Yeah.
What's Hook all about for you?
Hook is, you've got the people to your website. You've got them to read the content that you've put on there. You've got them to look at your products or services, and then they go. And you never find them again. People always look at the analytics of their website and get kind of shocked by the amount of traffic that they get to their website compared to the output they get from it. So Hook is what we look at in order to, when someone's been on your website, how do you get them as a lead? Now that can be from improving a user experience and customer journey and getting them to where you want them to get to on the website. It could be from pop-ups about downloads or signing up for a newsletter, or then if you kind of go down the paid route, the remarketing pixels, doing the adverts once they've left your website, all with the aim of reducing that bounce rate and increasing the leads.
And ultimately, it's about having the right type of traffic to your website as well, which is always really, really important. I think, like you've said, sometimes, people can be wowed by how much traffic you have going to your website, but if it's not actually the right type of traffic and they're never going to convert to a lead, then, what's kind of the point in that, really?
Well, there's exactly that. We did this process for one of our clients, and we found that 95% of their traffic was coming from a Google ad. Problem was that from that, all the traffic from the Google ad, 98% bounce rate, 12 seconds average session on the website with one page viewed. Then when we looked at the traffic from social media or from referrals, the bounce rate dropped to 40%. It was pages viewed were 4 minutes spent on websites. So we look properly into it, not just how can we get the traffic up, but how to get the right traffic to the website.
And is there any kind of project that springs to mind of, where we've kind of implemented Reach and we've actually seen a positive kind of outcome from it?
Yes, so early this year we ran our Reach process for a client and made the changes to the website and launched it, and then the average inquiries went up 300%, and that's a continuous growth. Obviously, you get a relaunch, you expect a bit of a bump up, but it's been consistent every single month since the launch.
Great. So I think for me, that's obviously the model in a nutshell, but I think it's all about, first of all, kind of transparency. So when we're doing that initial kind of report and sharing that with clients, it's about us kind of sharing it in a way that's really accessible to you so that you fully understand what that current situation is. And to us, transparency is incredibly important, and being very transparent about, okay, well, exactly what changes are we going to make, why are we going to make them, and what outcome are you going to have. And I think sometimes there can be a real lack in transparency when it comes around to something like digital marketing. So I think that's really important to us. And then also being very clear in the strategy on, exactly what we recommend to implement. And then sort of measuring it is so important. With all this data accessible to us, we can measure it, and we can use our knowledge and experience from being in the industry for over 10 years to really go, okay, well, this is happening. We think it's happening for this reason, and really applying that common sense as well, and not just using the data. So I think that's really kind of important as well from this perspective.
Yeah, return on investment is definitely the number one challenge that marketeers have when they're speaking to their clients or speaking to their bosses. And it's because some people think that marketing is fluffy, but that's only because it's not worked for them. This is why we are completely transparent and honest with our report. We do marketing that works. We say, here are the issues, here are the solutions, and this is what you should expect to get in the outcome.
Great. Thanks, Kim. Well, we've shared quite a lot of kind of our thoughts and challenges around digital marketing, and we've discussed Reach, the new digital approach that we've got. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to send us a message. Our next podcast is going to be on Rise, our holistic brand model. So don't forget to check that out, and please visit our website for more information, which is weareembrace.com. Thank you.
Thanks.